Hello everyone and welcome to this tutorial. My name is Chadi, I am the head of support at Custobar, and in today's tutorial we will cover how to create an email campaign from scratch. Today's tutorial will focus on manual email campaign creation. We will cover automated email campaigns in a more advanced tutorial. Let's get ahead and start by clicking on the campaign page. This is the page where you can create a new campaign by clicking either of these two buttons, Create Action. Here we can choose the type and we will choose email. The email automation button is this one. Let's choose the manual one for now. I will call our campaign test and choose the type. Now I have a foldering system where I can put my campaign so I can find it later for reporting. I could also create a new folder if necessary. This is now where I can choose an audience if I want to create a campaign real fast and I already have an audience saved that I want to contact. I could pick it right here and go straight to the content and scheduling. Right now I will click on choose later because we will also have a look at how to create an audience should it not be already saved. I will click next and start from scratch. Now I have several templates available. I will choose this Acme template. The template is the base on which you will add the modules to create the content of your email. So now I choose the Acme Company template, and as you can see, a few modules are already here as placeholders. If I want to, I can remove them by clicking on the trash bin button. So this is our content editor. It uses a drag and drop feature, so you can pick any template module on the sidebar here and simply drag and drop it wherever I want to have it in my content. Now you can see that there is a placeholder text for my title, my text, my button, and my images. If I want to start and fill this up with real images, I can go into my image library, which is here, and drag and drop the image that I want. Of course, if you want to, you can upload new pictures by simply using this button here, or you can search for images by typing right here in this search bar. Once I have my result, I drag and drop it where I want. Now for the text, simply click on it and you can either type directly in the module or here in the sidebar, this is my title. As you can see, the content is changing in real life. Now I have this button down here in the corner and I can start to modify here either by changing the link or by changing the displayed text. Those also get updated in real time. If I want to, I can change the color of the module or of the button. Here my color is blue. We can switch it to green. I could also change the background. Now we have what is called module visibility. This is a special feature in Custobar that allows you to show or hide certain modules depending on which audience your customers are part of. So currently this module is visible to everybody. Let's say I want to hide it to certain people. I can click here, Hide from Audience, and then choose which audience will not be able to see it. For example, I will click Passives over 6 months. This means that once I target my segment and send the campaign, if part of this segment overlaps with the audience passives over 6 months, the module will be hidden. All other customers of my segment who are not overlapping with this passive over 6 months audience will be able to see the module. Similarly, I could have a module only visible to a specific audience. But keep in mind that this is a matter of overlap. That is to say, your customers have to be part of the segmentation you are currently targeting, as well as this other audience criteria. For this purpose, it is very important that you create and save audiences that are relevant to you. For example, you could create and save your VIP customer as a specific audience. That way, you can target them real fast by creating a campaign from scratch, or you can show and hide certain modules for those specific VIP customers. You could do that in your general newsletter, for example, to show them some exclusive content that other newsletter recipients will not see because they're not VIP customers. Now, let's say that this is my newsletter. Here down I have a product module. Now there are 3 products in this module. Of course, I could have one with only 2 products or 4 products. And what I want to is drag and drop some products here to show my new products. So let's say that we're looking for a book. I drag and drop it, and as you can see, all the details are filled up. I have my product title, and I also have the price. Here I do not have the description because it seems that this product does not have a description available. I will then delete that text, or what I could do is use a different module that only has title and price to not have this gap here. If I click on the module, I can see here that there's a product price and there's a background color. If I want to, I can change the background of the module just like we did before. I will put it back as transparent for now. Now I can drag and drop some other products, but also I can drag and drop some product recommendation. This means that for each recipient, this image will be replaced by an actual product from my product line that has been calculated to be relevant to the customer based on their browsing and purchase history. Most customers will see a product that is tailored to their needs or to their behavior. And of course, if the customer does not have a specific background history with your company, this product will be replaced by generic recommendation. That is to say, the product that is most likely to sell to new customers, those who don't have a purchase or a browse history. Now, I could put more than one recommendation in my module, and they will fill up in order of the highest ranking and then the second highest ranking and so on. Each customer has roughly 10 products in their list of recommendation so that you can have several recommendations per emails without having the same product recommended again and again. Now, of course, these products here show fiction. That is to say that we can subdivide the recommendations by, in this case, product category. We are in the context of a bookshop, and so the product category here are types of books. So those are fiction books. I also have non-fiction. The way the system will handle this is it will give the highest ranking book in the fiction category, and then the highest ranking book in the non-fiction category. So let's say that my recommendations are 10 books of fiction, then the system will jump those 10 rows to go to the 11th product, which is the first non-fiction recommendation. So in that sense, you will always have the highest ranking no matter what is the category or the criteria that will allow you to tailor those recommendations. Now, once my content is ready, I have to make sure also that I have a subject line. For example, have a look at our new releases. The sender name in this case is the company Acme, and I have my sender email address, newsletter@acme.com. Of course, I could also add a preview text so that customers can see directly from their inbox what this email is about. There we go. And a text version in the case where the image don't load or customers want to have the text version only. Now let's say that my content is ready. I can now choose to send a test email to myself to see that everything looks as intended, or I can save and exit. Let's choose that for now. Now, as you can see, I am in the Content and Activation tab. I am being warned that my audience has not been selected. This is this red banner up here. So it is important that I choose my audience before I do anything else, because this tab will have a lot more data as I have chosen my audience. Also, if I scroll down, I can see the preview. And as you can see here, I have my different audiences listed out. So I can see how the preview changes based on which customers I have, based on which audience the customers will belong to. So if you remember, I had changed the visibility for those passive customers. So if I click on that, now I can see that my content has changed. This module has been hidden for customers who overlap with this passive audience. For other audiences, the module comes back. Now let's go ahead and choose an audience. I can either choose a pre-saved audience from my audiences folder, or I can choose this edit button, edit audience, to create it from scratch. Let's choose that for now. Here, as you can see, I am now in the customer page where I can create my segmentation for the campaign. And also I can see up here, this is the current draft that this audience will be linked to. So in case I drop that work for a minute and come back, I can see as I return, this is what I was working on, and this is the audience I'm creating. So let's start now by segmenting our audience. Currently, I can see that I have 100,000 customers to choose from. This is my entire customer base. Out of those 100,000 customers, 37,000 have email permission enabled and an email address to contact them. So this is actually the pool of customers I can choose from who will be targeted in the final stages of the campaign. I will type a field name, in this case, city. This is the city of a customer. So if I click on it, I can start to look for my customer's city, and I will choose, let's say, Liverpool. Now I can see that the amount has changed. These are the total customers who match this query, and those are the customers I can actually contact since they have an email address and the marketing permission enabled for email content. Now, this is still broad. I want to further narrow it, but let's say that I'm not sure how to write the field I'm looking for. I can go ahead and click on the question mark here and have a list of all the fields available by default in Custobar, as well as custom fields I might have configured. Now, this is what I'm looking for. I had the field city. I want to narrow it down further. Let's check, for example, the last active date of my customers, which is written last_active_date. This is the date and time when the customer has been the most recently active. I can go ahead and click on it, and now this has been populated. Now I can start typing either a date, let's say the 20th of October 2019, or I can go ahead and type a relative date. In that case, I can use is equal to, and I will type now minus 7 days. This gives me all customers who were active last 7 days ago. If I click update, my field has been changed. Now I have 168 customers. Of course, if this is a bit too specific, I could have this relative search, which is a range search. So now minus 7 days is 7 days ago, and now. This gives me a sliding range of customers who are active in the last 7 days. If I update, I have now a more wide range window, and since I use this relative day using the now search, this field will be updated. If I schedule my campaign to fire later, customers will enter and leave the audience in real life dynamically until the campaign is ready to fire. When the campaign is fired, there will be a last check to update the audience, and all customers who are active in the last 7 days until now being the moment of the campaign firing, those customers will be the one contacted, not the customers that were in the audience at the time I saved the audience, but the customers at the time the campaign fires. This is because I use this now relative date. So let's say this is what I'm looking for. I can go ahead and click Save. Now I return to my content and activation page, and as you can see, I have a lot more data available to see, especially here on the left. I have my total amount of recipients. I have a breakdown of email permission, the time they were contacted in the last 7 days, and their latest activity. I can choose to send my campaign immediately or send it at a specified date. Let's say that I want to fire it tomorrow. I will click on the calendar date, and then I may choose a time of the day where I want to send it. Let's say I want to send it at 3 o'clock. Now, one advice I could give you is if you want to send it at 3 o'clock, try to send it at 2:57, for example. The reason for that is many campaigns and newsletters are scheduled to fire on the hour. So by sending it a little before or a little after, you're most likely to have your traffic go through smoothly to the email domain providers. And also you will be able probably to have your emails delivered a little bit before or after traffic from competitors or other companies sending newsletters at the same time. So this is a little tip that we picked up in practice by listening and talking with our current customers here at Custobar. Now, if I wanted to, I could use this slider to choose to exclude customers I have already contacted a certain amount of time, so I do not harass them with too many emails in the last 7 days. Those customers I can see here on the left have not been contacted more than once in the last 7 days, so I do not need to use this. Also, if I send to several 100,000 customers or even dozen thousand customers, it would be good to have at least 1 minute break between the bundles of 1,000 messages. In my case, I only send to 167, so I do not need to use this. Also, I can choose how long do I want to track the sales for this specific newsletter. By default, it is 14 days, but let's say that this is a short campaign with an offer that is available only for a few days. I could lower this or get it on a longer tracking period if I were to use, let's say, a campaign that is joined with slow mail. For now, I will leave it at 14 days. This is the standard. If I wanted to, I could use a coupon code in my campaign. If I did, I would choose which type to attach to the campaign as it fires. Now, the way to use this is actually in the content of the campaign. So let's say now that I want to edit the content of my campaign because I forgot to add this while I was creating the content. I will scroll back up and use this button up here, Edit Content. Now, I could put the module that I'm interested in, let's say a text module, and start typing. I will use now what is called a placeholder by using this syntax: line, line, code, and again, line, line. This placeholder will now be replaced by a different coupon code for each of the customers, and they will be consumed from my list that I have uploaded to Custobar. Of course, it's important before you send the campaign to check that you have enough. The way to do this, I will save and return to the content page, is here. Next to each code, I can see the amount available. I would say that it's very important to always have more than the intended amount of customers you will contact. The reason for that is the codes are attributed to each customer at the moment the campaign fires. This is done also before the customer actually receives the campaign in their inbox, but also before the check is done to see if the customer email address is valid, for example. So that means that some customers might be attributed a code even if they will not be able to receive the campaign. So for that, it's always important to have at least more codes than the total amount you may be able to contact. And as a rule of thumb, I would say try to have at least twice the amount of codes compared to the size of your audience. That way it's entirely foolproof and you will make sure that no customer receives an email with no code in the content. Now, my email was not very personal. I could actually use the placeholder just like I did for the codes to contact the customer directly. And the way to do that is to use this line syntax and, for example, the first name field. That way I can write hello first name. This first name field will be replaced by the value for each customer. If a customer does not have any value in the first name field, this space will be blank, so there will not be any placeholder visible to the customer. That is so that customers will be contacted if their first name exists in a personal way, and if not, they will just see hello, comma, and the rest of the text. Now that looks good to me, so I can save it, preview it once more to make sure everything is fine. As you can see, this is what it would look like if there was no first name available, and also if for some reason the code ran out, the placeholder would hide. But in that case, I am sure that with 100,000 codes, I will have enough for my 167 customers. Now that I am ready, I could choose to bypass marketing permission or not. In that case, I will not do so. I can click activate. And now my campaign is active. That campaign will be active for a few seconds, and after that it will switch to completed. Completed campaign means that all emails requests have been sent, and now it's just a matter of delivery. It can take several minutes for the entire customer base to receive the message. This depends on how long it takes for the server of their email domain provider to receive the message. Once this is done, I can track the results of the campaign. My delivered will, of course, be updated in real time as Custobar receives the delivery event from the servers. And as customers open and click the emails, those stats will, of course, be updated as well. If my customer unsubscribed from the campaign, this stat will also be updated. Just the same way, if this email is for some reason not received or not delivered, the bounce rate will show the rate of customers who did not receive it. Finally, if a customer purchases a product after having received a campaign for the 14-day tracking period, it will be counted as a conversion and I will be able to see that rate. Once the campaign has been active for a while, I will be able also to track the clicks, to track the specific conversion, as well as the performance of the products either that were featured in the campaign or the products that sold following the campaigns, even if they were not featured. This breakdown will be covered in some guides on custobar.com website. And if you have any questions, of course, feel free to contact us at support@custobar.com. Now, this covers the very basics of an email campaign creation. We will cover more advanced topics during other tutorials, as well as during face-to-face meetings with our different customers. So if you want to cover some specific questions you might have, or some more advanced training you would like to receive, you can of course schedule some extra meetings with our customer success team, and for that the best way to go is simply send us an email at support@custobar.com. Thank you very much for following this tutorial. Please do not hesitate to review it if this was a little fast for you, and as always, it is a pleasure to be able to host those tutorials for our customers.